our ECC in Brandon, and everybody agreed that's the thing to do, but nobody does anything. And I said for the last 9 years. And with all due respect as well, to Elder Linklater, he represents the adhesions to Treaty 5, and we are an adhesion to Treaty 5 signed in 1909, but our area is unique, and also it's with a different tribe, I'll say, or nation, and we want to represent our own, right? But we still collaborate with others, of course, like we all do, but we need representation from the elders' perspective. Okay? Just that's again, for future reference. Sorry to hold up the proceedings here, but I will move to accept.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
I got to be good for something.
Thank you, Chief McDougall. I will go to microphone 3 for a quick response. Just if you want to clarify.
Yep. Grand Chief Dumas, thank you, Chief McDougall. I appreciate it as you are one of the chiefs that's working on the governance stuff that we're doing. This is an issue that we will be bringing forward, but in matter of 1.4, and I'll reread it. In the absence of a chief who may not have an elected council, designated representative, or proxies who are accredited officially in writing by that member First Nation for that purpose, may participate in a Chiefs Assembly forum. So that's already there. So if you have an elder, if you do it in writing, if Chief and Council appoints that person, then they to me, that's how I understand that. It says that they can participate.
Hello.
Thank you, Chief Dumas, Grand Chief Dumas. Microphone 11.
Hello. If you look at it in a technical way, this states that only if the chief does not have an elected council. So somebody can challenge that. Because like in the case of Wasegamat, they do have an elected chief and council, but they're too busy to be here. So can they appoint somebody to come and sit, is what I'm asking, right? For future reference. But in this case, somebody can say, you know what, that's not what this says, right?
Okay. So Chief, I agree with you, but I just wanted to use the example of Dakota Plains, you know, as they are their governance, their hereditary governance. The Assembly always accommodates when they send somebody forward to participate with us. But I hear you. I think we need to refine that wording so it's more succinct, so there's no gray area, I guess.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Grand Chief Dumas. And Chief McDougall, Chief McDougall, were you moving the adoption of the rules and procedure?
Yes, I was moving it as well.
Okay, thank you. Could I get a seconder? Microphone 15.
Bonjour, good morning, Chief Anderson. I'll second that.
Thank you, Chief Anderson. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, the motion is carried. All right, so moving along with our agenda, we have a lot of things to get to today, so I would like to call upon Chief Nelson Janai, the Chair for Clear Sky Connections, to bring a presentation on the Clear Sky Connections. And everyone should have a binder in front of them regarding the presentation, and I believe that they're also going to have a PowerPoint. Microphone 6. Oh, you need one? Okay.
Some water there, Shorty. Thank you.
It's been on the agenda for 2 years.
Morning. Tämä ask munista se paja. Ask mau. Kiatas na peusko. Ja kismutsik. Se pagusentamah. Tutemena negatus huaehuk. Egon ei sulta pakin negohuk. Mutta tästä muaehuk. Asvine oi pisi mutte sekä pisan mittaa tsikumatsinio. Tuisi kaunistakaa kissimun. En pagusentamaan. Tatse tässä on rastaan tattuskin te aputian saapte Cree Nation. Ai se matta pian nigan. Koista jatsi muan. Ek man tattuskin. Kikino mi gono isu tenigan, araga chiwok. Tatsi si muttiek. Kois da sigino mittuok. Kois da isu itsu tashkemittuok. Kois nigan da tapiek. Mogi muteno ai sigisigak. Askuten. Itsigi mautte kivone. Kivona starting tatuskein. Kivotest the moik. Piego matuskein. Clear Sky Connections ai triati. So ras kamaus meni tom kiat to nape uskio. Itsigi mauk, jogi mauk. Ogi tu temena no tamata bitsik. Agi simon soene monait. Ana zagi siga. Wicha tuskein. Ana zagi siga. Peme panyano te sigetro. Pisishkiok be omau. Ego mano manan chigi o echigasutsi. Tate tispani mo gimuteno. Ego mette que no sigisiga. Ego nezini. So I welcome you. You know, Grand Chiefs, our people, our leadership. You know, it's been a humbling experience to be walking as the chief of my community. You know, I'm completing 4 terms of my community. The last one to do that was the old chief. And that was the old way. Before 74 and the Indian Act. Before fighting amongst ourselves of who's going to be in power, who's going to be in leadership. So that was our old way. Our old way is also our languages. The different languages that you represent. Who you are as a peoples. So it's been a humbling experience to serve on you as Clear Sky Connection representative along with my co-chair, Chief Crate. And a humble opportunity as a languages rep for Assembly Manitoba Chiefs through AFN Manitoba Rep Kevin Hart. And it's very good in a way of what I was trying to do. It's not doing it for myself, it's doing it for you on your behalf. So it's been a painstaking, I'll say, humbling experience, but at the same time a learning experience. And one thing about learning experience is we are our own worst enemy. You know, that's that devil's advocate, I'll say, that one that tells you not to do it, don't do it, this is what's going to happen. You know, coming along this way, I saw 2 animals. You know, one is that sly old fox, and one is that wolf. You know, to be humble in a way, how we walk in life, you have to be connected to the land to find out what these animals represent. Painstakingly, I took my time to do that every season, you know, to be one with the land. A learning experience I felt as a young person in my life. And when that happened was when I lost my brother to suicide. So I was lost for a while. I was angered for a while. I blamed people for a while. So I went in the bush by myself for 7 days. Every day, day in, day out, I seen animals come and check up, come and see. That's the connection we lost. On the 7th day of waking up, I spoke to myself, I talked to myself. That's when you're connected, because there's somebody listening. I know some of you are not going to be able to understand what I'm talking about, because everybody walks their own way of life. Whether it's a church way, whether it's your way, traditional way, or of your people's way. So this little message for myself, because before I speak on, you know, I like to let people know who I am. I acknowledge the new chiefs around the table. I acknowledge the leadership around the table. So you representing your community, you know, at the same time, Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs doesn't represent you individually in your community, because you are your own nations. But the mandates we're given is the task at hand that we have to do. So the task at hand I was given to do was Clear Sky Connections. And it's up there if somebody has a super eyesight, but if not, binder is provided to you. I know as I'm graying in age too, I've been given 2 super eyes. They're called glasses, I guess. So Clear Sky Connection. The history of Clear Sky Connection. All right, tech guy, where do I point to? It's on the first slide. In 2009, First Nation Technology Council was established to oversee technology-related projects. 2014, AMC Health and Social became First Nations Health and Social Secretariat. Nandoegabik. E-Health, plan to establish how First Nations health authorities in their operations could help their people without actually leaving their communities. Then Clear Sky Connections. Traditional fiber deployment, how to actually connect you and take you away from microwave cell technology. How to get your high-speed internet moving and going. And establishing this means we had to go through a center of excellence of working together. So during this whole process, the vision of what do we want, I can only tell you as an example of my community, I have a kid at 12, state-of-the-art high school. We had our health administration building, X-ray technology, but useless because I could not get the connection. I had a smart board I was there to look at, but not able to use it. I had X-ray machine in our health administrative building, not able to utilize it, all because of connectivity. That's that fiber optic line that you need the high megabytes to make it go, make it work. So the microwave technology is a satellite tower to tower feeding off to a bigger stream. This is going to be obsolete pretty soon. Why obsolete? Because everybody has a phone, like the Grand Chiefs here on their phones here. So everybody using it at the same time, you're not going to have basically the connectivity to make it work. So when we moved along and move ahead, we started developing and we started progressing of how to make it work. So our mandate was always still the same. Affordable, reliable, high-speed internet. And it's basically to facilitate and support and training employment for each community. Because each community is different. Each community's wants and needs are different. We're not all in the same box. So being in that same box, some only require a little assistance. Some require medium assistance. Some require a lot of help and assistance because where they are in the territory of, you call Manitoba. So our mandate was just to connect you, is what we've been doing with myself and Chief Crate. All this being done by sweat equity. We're volunteering here, myself and Chief Crate, to try and connect you. And that's what I say, that humbling experience. That's what I'm going to get at the end of the day, is giving that mandate and doing it on your behalf. Our people have suffered far way too much to depend on somebody when you could do it yourselves. So every assembly, myself, Rider Chief Crate, presented and also gave you all the information, and you gave us direction of where we were going to go next. So the certified resolutions are all in the package of where we're at. And when we talk about December 19, 2017, it's almost 1 year where we've been, where we are right now. and we haven't gotten anywhere. You know, that's where that person's worst enemy is ourselves. May 29, 2018, we had our annual assembly in Opaskwayak Cree Nation. I wasn't able to attend because I had a fire in my community. You know, I never had a fire since the 50s. So this was a big fire that stopped my community dead in its tracks. That's how strong fire is. So 21 of us helped save and maintain my community for no type of infrastructure damage. So that's where my role as chief was. So Chief Crate, along with our team, continued on the role of where we were going. So the second mandate, the second resolution, it's in August. I wasn't able to attend again. But it's not signed. So you have to ask that question yourself. Is you got to keep in mind, myself and co-chair, taking tasks, taking duties, sharing the workload. We're not able to do the workload ourselves. So the board structure itself, Corporation of Federal Nonprofit for Profit Corporation, our 7 tribal councils led this Clear Sky Connection. So for our behalf, it was Swampy Creek Tribal Council, Patricia Dorian. West Region had their own, Highland Lake had their own, UTC, so everybody had their own reps. And your reps reported back to you where everything was at. So the 12 directors, right now, as it stands, one is nominated by the 7 tribal council members prior to AGM. That's how we got our appointments. One being a member of the Independent First Nations in Manitoba. 3 selected by board after each AGM. So in essence, what this model is going to look like is you are the ones, basically ownership of this Clear Sky Connection. It's your mandate. Never my mandate, never Chief Crate's, just the task of what we're going to do with connection. So motion number 2017, November 2206. The founding members should be comprised of the 12 directors are all listed on there. Ex officio non-voting members, SEO Chief Murray Clear Sky, MKO Chief Larson Anderson, Elder Advisor Harry Boone, and Youth Advisor Carlson Robinson. We had the youth involved in proposals, and they ran on our behalf. So that way, your youth are educated on what needs to happen in your community. So I like to applaud those youth that vested their time, their interest on trying to get this for their communities. And when we talk about stakeholder investments, phase 1 of the funding, it was announced on January 9, 2018, which totaled $63 million. Additional work by CSC, assessing the funding required connecting Northern First Nations and a couple of the Southern First Nations. This totals up to $91 million. So when we talk about all of these sunyas, this money, then all of a sudden we have competing factors and interests that come on board. The mandate for Clear Sky, we help and assist you, we connect you, then you own it. Plain and simple. No more Bell, no more Rogers, no more somebody that you have to depend on and that's going to basically spike whatever rates they're going to give you. You be the business owner. You sell it within your community. You develop your own ISPs. Because you know what you want in your community. That's what I wanted to do. That's why I said I'll do it. And me wanting to do it on your behalf, you'd be well off. So Manitoba First Nations Communities Fiber Optic Plan. So it's in your chart of how each community is going to be connected. MIT, hydro, existing fiber optic lines that you yourself basically have to take ownership of. I'll use an example of my community, Bipole 3. It's coming through my territory. Section 35, duty consult accommodate. They gave me a piece of paper you've been consulted with. No input in regards to what I wanted as a chief of my community. No input with my membership on how it's going to affect them and their way of life. Because all of our crown lands, we never forego any of those. Our forefathers said to use now forever for your traditional way of life. So I took Manitoba government and Manitoba Hydro to court. All because of the 3 M's, you know, Manitoba Hydro, Manitoba government, Manitoba Court of Queen's Bench. Guess what the answer is going to be? For the viability of Manitoba, you've been consulted with, and for the economic viability of Manitoba, this project has to continue. Nothing there for my treaty rights, nothing there for Zapatec in regards to what my forefathers signed with treaty. So as soon as that was done, my membership packed up their tents, the teepees, and set up right on that bipole line. The next day after court day. 69 days my membership were there. 69 days during the cold months. December to basically end of March. So during that time, talks, discussions, Manitoba Hydro, what is it that you want out of this whole thing? Give us a piece of that line. Give us a piece of that opportunity. I live 29 kilometers from the highway. I can't get cell service where I am. With this opportunity of this bipole line, fiber optic opportunity, I couldn't get cell service in my community. So that's one thing they granted. Yeah, we'll do it. They finally realized they have to give you something. So that was the opportunity that I myself, as chief of my community, gave to this table, to these chiefs around the table, to give you that opportunity. I always acknowledge my membership, because it was mostly my elders that stood on that line. You know, you got these young people talking tough and wanting to do this and that. You know, I look back, where the hell were they? Pardon my language. And I always challenge that when I have my public meetings. These old people showed you what they believed in. These old people showed you how to get it done. So moving ahead, you know, thank the membership of those old people. I did that for 69 days during the cold winter months. But the ironic thing was Hydro was always waiting. When are you going to go home? Aren't you cold? You know, something they couldn't grasp. You know, we're from the land, we live on the land. Our teepees, our homes. It was t-shirt weather sitting there in December, January. End of January was supposed to be minus 40, it was plus 3. February 3 was plus 4. Because we were always acknowledging our people, the ones that walked ahead in our language. And they did that. You know, when was the last time it was plus 2 and 3 in end of January? It's supposed to be the coldest winter months. And this is what government and Hydro are always saying. We'll freeze them out. They'll stop. They'll go home. But that's our homes. So Section 35 unit consult is going to be triggered once this project gets funded. Through Clear Sky Connection, we've been doing all the consultation with you because you are the owners. You are the membership. You are the shareholders. To secure immediate priority funding, to secure additional capital funding, action and expression of interest, seek potential opportunities based on the value obtained. You know, it's possible how each community could do it really quick. Some communities are ready to roll and connect themselves. I like to applaud them for being ready to do it. When we talk about provision, additional investors, you know, providing investors of who's going to do it, we had an opportunity to work with one. It never worked. You know, it never worked. I'll save that for the in-camera session of how it didn't work and why it didn't work. But it needs to be brought up. And I'm very sorry I'm not able to stay here for the next 3 days. You know, I have a lot of commitments. I have a battle on a side note that I'm battling Canada on TLE. Geez, eh? Material default. I'm going to move back to court on TLE. That's another file I have. You know, I always thought my mom and dad never raised a fighter, but I guess they raised somebody that's got to go do this. And I like to be nice because, as I always say, there's always somebody listening. Clear Sky Indigenous Network Partnership for Profit Model. You know, that's this model that we talked about of how we're going to make it work, who's going to be there, how it's going to work. So right now, the first director is myself, Chief Crate, David Koblinski, George Neepin. And we became a limited partner, numbered company for an arm for profit. We also utilize BCN as a limited partner for training, for maintenance. But as an individual community, if you don't require that, you're not forced to utilize that. If you have your own resources and people that are able to do it, by all means do it. You don't need us to do it. And that's the thing with his model. As I always said, who's able to do it, who wants help, who wants assistance, let's get it going. So deployment. Right now is delay in funding right now, I said, with their money. Right now, you know, we had a $30 million announcement. And myself and Chief Crate have been proactive in trying to secure this money. Secure it so that way we could go with the first build, phase 1. But it's pending because of a competing interest that's before us right now, and that needs to be acknowledged when we go into in camera. So right now, risk. Nobody's funded right now, from I said, nobody. Right now, you as leadership got to make that decision. And when we're going to make that decision, fortunately, it's going to be done by numbers, and decisions are going to be made on where each party is going. When I talk about each party, the two parties, Clear Sky and another party, the individual membership. Each individual membership has to make that decision. That's you as chiefs and councils representing this current table right now. We're going to be hosting our 4th annual ICT Summit on February 19th, 21st, and 2019 at Canada Inn. So this is coming up really quick. And at which point in time does the AMC chiefs, They're going to basically dissolve us. That's my question to you. As I said before, I've been giving sweat equity. I don't like wasting my time. You got to keep me going, put somebody else there, or I resign. Basically it. I got far more better things to do in my community. I'm completing a fire hall. I got an urban reserve for a gas bar. I'm completing 10 units for housing and 10 more additional units that's going to be starting. I'm doing a lot of stuff with my community. I don't have to be standing here wasting my time, because that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm wasting my time. So in closing, you know, it's been a humble experience. It's been a learning experience. It's been an experience where I thought I was giving you my expertise. I say that every day. It's ako mo anyone what you want, you know. I see what I want to see in my community for you guys to benefit also. That's what I see. Our people have gone through far too much of industry, and also that Mo-Mow. And I always say it, it's still a white man and Indian problem we got. You know, a white man is going to keep us down, keep in control of you. And our Indian side of us, our way of life, is still strong. You know, it's a battle we do every day. And racism still lies every day with us. Whether it's towns, cities, even with our own people. So, we need to move ahead. I need to move ahead. Which way I'm going is going to decide as soon as I'm done the presentation. So I say that in a good way. Nasumit na ako ni Stepe dito Kung maumuti na ikisi mo dataman, ni mo sumugot at tuskini o kaya po mo dataman si bisigat. Ako sige po si gawat yan, tadi dati lutyek, tadi si tagusinak. Kaya kumanis kistuhan 20 may kasubi mo sumina na kagisin 20. So that's what I like to say to you, and acknowledge you, and nasumit now. And as our chair said, I think we have question and answer period right away before we go into our in-camera, I guess. So.
Hello. Oh, there we go. So now is the time to go directly into question and answer period. Chief McDougall, you requested an in-camera session. Did you want to do that now? Number 11.
Okay, I do have some concerns that I do want to voice myself with at the assembly before we go into in-camera.
Okay.
One of the things that I questioned and I've kind of deliberated over, like I'm trying to give everybody a benefit of the doubt as well, but at the same time, you know, I had questioned Chief Crate and you know, the CEO had an assembly at the convention center in Winnipeg, and I raised my voice a few times because I was advocating for services for my people and also for the people of the sister communities in Island Lake. And we are about just over about 13,000 strong, and we're in the most impoverished region with that kind of population, and yet we see other entities making money off us all the time, and we're saying it's time to step up and say, you know what, we want a bigger piece of the pie. But the way that this thing has developed, and I was telling them, I said we should be the top priority to connect those people that do not have the luxury of jumping in a vehicle and rushing to the first accredited hospital, because we need that that service here and now. All stand, please. Jonathan Flett has walked into the room. Yeah. That's my ugama. In our culture, we have mud and royalty. He is royalty to me. So anyway, that's the culture of the Ansininok of northeastern Manitoba. But the thing is, when we look at what I even asked, what is composed in the other competing as far as ownership and control? And like we hear, this is 4951, and that equates to about 63 units, shareholder units on our side, and 60 on the other side. So as we're sitting here, and like we always do, we are not all yes men, and we don't agree totally. We can vote either way. We'll always be divided. Compared, and there'll be one unit there of 60% ownership. And to me, that's not what I want. If we're working together to develop a strategy and to have that service and to have ownership and so the and also the controlling decision-making level, then I say that we are not really, this is not really what I want to see happening. So, Clear Sky for me had the best option. Even though I spoke in a critical way at the beginning, I wanted to understand it, and I speak my mind. And when asked of the same question on the other side, I was not provided the details on the ownership. Who is RF now? I didn't know. Yes, it's a company out of Verdun and they're good at what they do. I don't doubt that. But when I'm asking about how much are they going to control of what happens in my community, and like I said to one of the colleagues, I don't want it to be another Perimeter Airways or another Northwest company coming in and making all the benefit out and taking it out. And this is, to me, I'm sorry to say, but what's being proposed here from the other companies, that's what's going to happen. So I'm saying we have to have a serious discussion. And just for those people around the table in the room, because of the announcement yesterday, and I'm not going to hide this fact. Now there's a communication coming forward from ISK saying all the developmental dollars that have been issued to this group, that was more from Chiefs Technology Council. We want that money back now. They're going to claw it back because of what they saw in the press conference yesterday, the contents. So, and also, yes, I had a chance to deal with a rogue entity in the early part of my political career as chief. And every time you brought the CEO and myself into the same room, we had a head-butting session because I was asking questions. I wanted accountability. And with Clear Sky, this is not what's happening. We're more than willing to divulge information on the developments. But unfortunately, some of those have been stifled in the process. And I'll stop there. And also, when as you know, my sister communities are not here in the room right now, namely Red Sucker, Wasegamak, and Garden Hill. But when I wanted to get them on board, I told them that they have an opportunity to do their last mile, their own ISP company. But you also have an opportunity, if you believe it's the best for your community, to go elsewhere and have them do it for you. Even if it's RF now, it doesn't matter who it is, but you would control it. You would make that choice. you have that choice in your sovereignty to make that decision. Nobody to push you into it. Now, like I said, there is a clause there that says we can join in and purchase even at $1, I believe, for a share. But I do have a concern with that, because my 1 share versus 60 shares is not quite what I want. Now, the other thing I just wanted to share with you on a very personal note, and I don't mind sharing this. You know, after 30, almost 40 years of driving, I got into my first accident yesterday morning. About 20 kilometers south of here, some of you guys seen my vehicle getting towed. I sideswiped a low bed. I was trying to make it because I've been so busy and I have to get to commitments. That's what I am. And when I asked somebody, my counsel and some other people, if they wanted to accompany, everybody was busy. So I said, oh, I'll just do this alone. So this morning, you know, I messaged my brothers and sisters and my mom in the community, saying that I'm grateful to be alive. Because the driver said if it had been a few more inches to your left, we'd had a devastating head-on collision. But I did end up in the ditch, and my truck is totaled, and that's fine. I mean, but the thing is, I'm not worried about material things here. But the thing is, what I'm saying here is I texted my son. It reminds me of the time when you were still in your mother's womb. I went duck hunting in the morning, May 1986. I remember that time. I fell through the ice. I prayed to God, I want to see my child. And I struggled to get out, eventually got myself out. And I went, first person I see is my grandfather's house. I went there, and he told me, you know what's happening with you is because you're trying to work too hard. You're trying to do this be on time for your work. Ang wam si musa gainan mina the bokaw ning isa kumsen kay kung atutaman. Kuanay mamatnin tami kung sa we inastigaw nga gay pa sa mga pics. Kay kistutan sa sagot sa payahtak tutan. That means you be careful. You consider the time of day. You're trying to do a 48-hour job in 24 hours. That's what he told me. And then I wrote that to my son, and I shared it with my other kids. And I said, you know what? I prayed to God that day. He listened to me. And I promised that day, for the rest of my days, whenever you decide to call me home, I will do the best for the betterment of my people and those that I love. And that's what I'm still doing. I said, because the council wanted to come out and be with me, but they had schedules to meet. I said, you don't disrupt your schedules. And then they wanted to send my wife out, and I said, no, we have plans. I'm going to meet with her in Winnipeg next week, and we're going to continue on with our plan. Just be thankful. I said, I'm able to speak to you today, but I am thankful, and through that, I'm going to continue working hard, and maybe twice as hard, because I know the urgency to serve our young people especially. So with that, I just want to say thank you for listening to me, and then if there's no other comments, I guess with the question that was asked of me, I guess we can go into a camera after that.
Thank you, Chief McDougall. Microphone number 10, Chief Balfour, or Chief Moody. I was thinking of somebody, Chief Moody, and then 15 after that.
Holy smokes.
My apologies.
We're in Marcel, Cologne First Nations territory. What's going on? Chief Hudson, you just gave away my traditional territory. I want part of Capion. That's what I was going to suggest as well. I think we should go into the camera right away. And the question I have is who's eligible to stay. I think the leaders, elected leaders should stay. I think our elders should stay, and the Grand Chiefs should stay as part of that discussion. And it's 12 o'clock now. I think we should try and wrap up this discussion by 1 o'clock.
Thank you, Chief Moody. You're making a motion to go into in-camera? Thank you. Moved by Chief Moody that we move into in-camera session. Microphone number 23 and then 15. Sorry. My apologies.
Hello. Chief McLean, Lake Manitoba. I would like to request that the Grand Chief Jerry Daniels be a part of the in-camera as well. And also Kevin Hart to be the chair, as he is an ex officio to the ECC. Thank you.
Okay, is that part of the motion fine with Chief Moody?
No, not me.
Okay, Chief, microphone 15, and then we'll go to Chief Monias on number 6.
Yes, Chief Henderson, just good morning to all the chiefs, grand chiefs, the Alder and the Drum this morning, and Chief Moody for welcome to his territory. And you can't have Cappy on, sorry, Chief Moody. I just wanted to say the same thing. I wanted the Grand Chiefs to be part of this because I think that they advocate on behalf of the Chiefs, and I think that it's important that they sit at this in camera. Miigwech.
Thank you. Chief Monias, number 6.
Hello.
Number 6.
Order.
Can you be quiet, please? Number 6.
Just simple. I like to get further discussions on this communication, clear sky connections in regards to the document, because I'm still a little confused here. Which is the entity are we working with? For example, there's two organizations here that are working with. One is called Clear Sky Communications.
Yeah.
And there's also Clear Sky Connects.
Okay.
I need to sort out this issue here in regards to where are we going with this? Because an example is that we keep doing an RF now or something like that. I don't have a freaking clue what these people are doing here. And I just finished our presenter talking about this. Nina, well, everybody's taking a break. And I guess I'll wait till everybody gets back here.
Yeah.
Because I have some issues here I need to deal with, including Grand Chief Thomas. Okay?
Okay, Chief Monias, what we're going to do is we're going to get the formalities out of the way. I have a motion on the floor for an in-camera session that was moved by Chief Moody and seconded by Chief McLean, I believe it was, yeah. Chief Hudson, 29. 29, please.
Oh. Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment regarding the traditional territory. I did realize after I made the statement that it was the wrong community, and I just want to apologize to Chief Moody and Nitchwassik Cree Nation. I know this is their traditional territory, and I know I did say Marcel Colomb, but it just came out that way. So I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Thank you very much. So with that, also as part of that motion will be that Vice Chief Kevin Hart will facilitate in-camera discussion regarding Clear Sky connections. So if I could, all in favor? Yep. To move into in-camera?
Yes.
Any opposed? One opposed, Chief Clear Sky. Any abstentions? That is one abstention. Am I correct? Were you abstaining? Oh, no, okay, you're waving, okay. So that is carried. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take 15 minutes, grab your food, go grab lunch and come right back. Could we get an elder, go plus the food? And Vice Chief Kevin Hart will be here in 15 minutes to